Good morning, this is Wang from Smart Affairs Center China office. Today I would like to explain a bit of Chinese logistics sector and its efforts towards sustainability. As everybody knows, freight and logistics is the orphan of sustainability. It delivers goods to millions of customers around the world. It is expected to triple by 2050. And CO2 emissions to more than double. The sector accounts for 8 to 10% of global CO2 today and are still growing. It is a major contributor to air pollution, noise, and congestion. If we stay business as usual, we cannot meet our climate and sustainability goals without effort in this sector. Within this context, China has committed under Paris Agreement 4 goals under NDC. By 2030, China's CO2 emission GDP per unit will decrease 60% to 65% comparing 2005. Non-fossil energy will increase up to 30% by 2030. China's CO2 emission will peak by 2030 and expect to achieve earlier. China also commits to increase forest volume and carbon deposit. Forest volume will increase 4.5 billion square meters comparing with 2005. Recently, the Chinese President Xi Jinping has claimed that China will achieve carbon neutrality before 2060. This is a big ambition. Today, I would like to use the chance to give you a nutshell of the Chinese logistics sector, what the current status, the challenge, and the future trend. I'm also going to talk about the policy and efforts of the Chinese sector towards sustainability and carbon emission reduction. First of all, I would like to give you a flavor of what the Chinese logistics sector looks like. Over the last decade, Chinese road freight volume has increased very fast. In 2019, for the first 9 months, it is increased by 5.8%. The total vehicle population in China was 13.4 million. That's including 5.35 million heavy-duty vehicles. In 2018, the year alone, 3.89 million trucks were sold. If you compare with 2017, this is 252,000 more. China is the second largest consumer of oil worldwide, of which 55% is used for transportation. China keep a pace from 1980 of 14 to 15% annual increase. If you compare 1980 to 2017, there's 87 times volume comparing with in ton per kilometer. Chinese road freight increased 6.3% annually. The road freight transport is the major way of transportation, which is 76.8%. Rail transport reduced from 20.4% to 7.7%. So rail is less competitive compared with road transport. The road freight will likely to remain the dominant way to transport goods in China, but more efficient and cleaner modes such as freight rail will play a more prominent role in the future. Let's talk about the freight impact. The Chinese trucks takes although only 7.8% of the auto vehicles, but it produced 78% of the PM and 57% of the NOx. In large Chinese cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, and Shenzhen, the mobile source pollutants takes 30% up to 40% of the pollutant, respectively. It is forecasted the freight volume is expected to expand 4 times more by 2050. As a consequence, the CO2 emission will increase from 4% to 60% on China's overall CO2 emission. China has invested heavily in the transport infrastructure investment and maintenance. Compared with the US, China invested 8 times more. It could be 50 times more comparing with the United Kingdom. As a result, China's road network has quadrupled in the last 20 years. By the end of 2018, the total length of Chinese expressway network has reached 142,500 kilometers. It has surpassed the US to become the world's largest expressway system. By 2017, China built up 1,270,000 kilometers of rail. Among it, 250,000 kilometers are high-speed rail. It takes 2/3 of the world total. China also built 7 out of 10 world's largest ports and built up 229 new freight airports. Transport is crucial for China's emission peaking and future energy efficiency. If you compare today's China's transport sector, the energy consumption is only 15% of the overall energy consumption. Transport sector, comparing with industry, building, and the other sector, will be the only one that's keep on fast growing up to 2050, according to Energy Research Institute in China. Chinese freight sector is still highly inefficient. This is an overview of the road freight industry among China, US, and the EU. Chinese individual owner driver represents over 60% of roughly 8 million of road freight carriers in China. This is compared with roughly 1.5 million road freight carriers in the US. The large number of small carriers and driver owners leads to very fierce competition and very low operational margins, make it difficult to meet with compliance and environmental regulations. As a key indicator, the number of daily operating hours is relatively low. Large fleets operate their vehicles for almost twice as long as the individual fleets, which currently average just about 5 hours per day. And if we study the internal and external barriers for the Chinese logistics sector to be more fuel efficient and sustainable, this sector is first and foremost a commercial sector driven by market force. It is not surprising the root cause of barriers for Chinese logistics sector to be more fuel efficient, to be more sustainable, is the market force itself. There's an oversupply of carriers and trucks combined with a very high fragmentation, which we just discussed, that creates a cutthroat competitive market that put carriers under enormous pressure to survive. This, combined with the other barriers, including lack of policy, there's limited enforcement, there's lack of standards, there's lack of green finance, all leads to the Chinese freight sector struggling to adopt more fuel-efficient technologies and methods. After discussed what the Chinese logistics sector looks like, we want to discuss a bit more about the policy and efforts of the sector toward green and sustainability. If we look at the smart freight solutions that's available for smart freight, we can see the Chinese government and the Chinese logistic industry has taken a cross-cutting method that's including more adoption of new energy, including the quick electrification process, the biofuels, the CNG, LNG in long-distance travel, and increase the utilization of the assets. That's introducing high-capacity vehicles, introducing training for its fleets and eco-driving training. From the government side, the policy really focusing on consolidate the sector by introducing measures that increase the load consolidation and also the change of the transport mode by requiring the whole sector to change toward multimodal and adoption of high efficient logistic management like hook and drop. We're going to give a little bit detail with these solutions, measures, and policies taken. There's 4 key areas, opportunity areas for China to improve the efficiency and go toward sustainability. The first is the freight demand opportunities. China is making, both from the industry angle, a structure change, and also the logistics sector per se, to have a better design, a better urbanization planning toward this efficiency. Secondly, for the logistic management, there's many freight mode share opportunities as described. Rail is only taking a very small part of the transport mode. Capacity improvement for bulk goods on water is also under demand. Internal model higher value goods on key corridors is still under consideration. Thirdly, increase the freight vehicle efficiency is highly on the agenda by using green freight programs like China green freight programs and Starfleet programs. The adoption of fuel efficient technologies and measures are underway, like low rolling resistance tires, aerodynamics, and transmission and engine technology upgrading are all underway. Last but not least, Chinese is introducing more tight, stringent fuel and vehicle standards to heavy-duty vehicles, and quickly adopt electric and new energy cars for light and urban trucks. From the government side, by 2020, the MOT is promoting a national freight transport structure change. In addition to regulating diesel HDVs, it requires the freight shipping be restructured. The goal of the national plan is to significantly shift bulk freight transport from on-road to railroad and waterway. The 3-year action plan targeting increasing the volume of goods shipped by railroads to 1.1 billion tons by 2020. This is a 30% increase from 2017 level. For Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei area, it is more ambitious. The volume was expected to increase more to 40%. It is calling for extensive expansion of dedicated trucks connecting major industry and logistic parks. They are also suggesting expand this model shifts to the shipment of all bulk products. And if we have an overview of the current government policy towards green freight, that's including the scrappage of yellow label vehicles, the old vehicles like the GB1589. The Chinese government is introducing more tighter action plan on air pollution, more tight vehicle and fuel standards, and a better urban freight strategy that's binding of heavy-duty vehicles to downtown areas. One of the emphases is to promote the cargo exchange platform, which is to emphasize the logistic organization. Urban freight strategy are introduced to first-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai to streamline the urban freight. Chinese government and the industry is also taking measures to accelerate the promotion and application of new energy vehicles. By 2020, the proportion of new energy or national 6 emission vehicles in new logistic parks and distribution centers will exceed 50%. The Chinese government is encouraging all local authorities to incorporate the basic infrastructure of electrification, charging poles construction into the scope of their planning and construction. It is also providing subsidy and also favorite policies to encourage especially the new energy vehicles in urban freight delivery. On the right hand of the graphics, you can actually see from 2014 to up to 2018, the new energy vehicle adoption nationwide has increased dramatically. The trend to transform the Chinese freight sector towards sustainability is very obvious. There's oversized and overloaded vehicles continue to be managed. More high-capacity vehicles are introduced. There's urban freight strategy that limit heavy-duty vehicles to downtown area, and introducing new energy vehicle is being rolling out. There's continued progress made adjusting the transport structure. Driven by pollution control, Chinese government is introducing more strict fuel and vehicle standards. And it is a fast process that this whole sector is transforming toward more sustainability, visibility, and digitalization. If we study further of the strategies for the Chinese freight toward more green, toward more low carbon, avoid, shift, and improve strategy still applies. The priorities in China, including more advanced, more efficient operation methods like drop and hook, and introducing the trailer renting method into the market. The Chinese government focusing heavily on truck brokerage and freight matching platform construction. And of course, as we discussed, shifting the transport from truck to rail, from truck to water. And the Chinese government, along with the industry association, and also with organizations like Smart Freight Center, is to scale up the adoption of fuel-efficient technologies and methods, and also introducing the eco-driving training. So those are the strategies that the Chinese government are taking and potentially contribute more to the sustainability of the sector. In summary, freight transport in China is an integral part of China's ambitious carbon emission reduction targets. Chinese government and the industry has already taken actions towards sustainability and efficiency. There's large opportunities, but also big challenges coexist in the Chinese logistics sector towards sustainability. However, there's big progress has made, and there's a lot of opportunities ahead. That's all of my introduction. Thanks for listening. Bye.